Well, hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome back to Argsy Farms here on the Oaks multiplayer server. There has been some time since we have been here on the server, at least made a video on it. We have been logging in and keeping the animals fed and healthy and everything like that. But it's been winter and there really hasn't been a great deal to do. But we're now well into March, we're into spring, and it's time to get started on a new season of work. But I thought, before we get into that, we'd give you a little rundown on the farm, talk a little bit about what's changed, what we've done over the last couple of months, and just catch you up on things. So first things first, we've gone and purchased ourselves another 20 animals. So we've got 30 animals, sorry. We've got 70 here in total. So we've got 30 more calves. We've got a couple of groups there, the Holsteins and Angus. I think there's 10 of each, which are getting to 19 or 20 months, and we're planning to sell those at 24. So get some income from those sometime in the future. And then we've got a whole lot more that are just growing. So we're going to hopefully get onto a very good cycle very soon of animals sort of every 6 months having a age group that's ready to sell. That is the plan anyhow. We've also managed to get rid of these pesky fences that we had around here from the old cattle pasture. So thank you to Mark, Haythornthwaite and Dazed. They figured out that this was on the farm number 1, which is owned by the server visitors. Just the way the map was created, the way it was set up, it wasn't actually owned by the farmland we had. So you could actually delete them, it just wasn't something we could do. Which is great because it gives us a whole lot more potential to get a second cattle pasture barn in there to be able to increase the amount of animals we have. So that is very exciting from that point of view. We've got some plans for this little area here, but we'll talk about that maybe a little bit later. We'll see if we get that today. But what else is there? We've got $330,000 there. You'll see we've sold all our crops. That was all done by TW Productions. They sold the dried wheat for us. We got our crop subsidy or our ground subsidy from the government, from the local council, so that is all sorted out now. And I can't recall if we did it before the last episode, but we have gone and purchased a new field, and that is going to be part of the focus of what we're going to be doing today. It's a field 31, which we did the sunflower contract on last season. That is now part of our farm. You can see though, we're starting to slowly get built out. TW Productions have bought another field up there. Dazed has bought the field up there as well. So the land that we have around us is starting to diminish, but I think in terms of the size of the farm, we're almost getting to the limit of what we can handle on our own, at least. If we were to get some help in, we might be able to do a little bit more. But there's a couple of fields through here that I've kind of got my eye on if and when we get the opportunity. We still do have some debt, though, that we do need to service, so we're going to have to worry about that. But first things first for today, well, let's talk, actually, before I get into today, let's talk about the plan for the farm. We are going to be planting predominantly oats and also some canola this time around. So of our fields, we have the grass here on 35. We're going to turn that into an oats field. These two fields are going to have oats. This one's going to have oats. And then the shared field here with Dazed is going to be all canola that we will sell to bovine. Now the reason I'm going with oats, just for something for a little bit of variety, just to test the water and see how they go. I do want lots of straw. We want to increase our straw because we now are able to give straw to the cattle to produce manure. And we're getting a steady income on a monthly basis from Mark for selling that to him to make his fertilizer. This field here we're going to convert back into our main grass field, so hopefully that will be enough to cover the animal needs of that over the next wee while and make sure we have enough silage to keep them going. The economy has been adjusted on the map a little bit, so silage is not worth as much as it was to sell, so it is going to be something that we're going to have to produce and do for ourselves. We've arranged to hire the soil sampler from Bovine, so we're going to head on down to his farm, go and pick that up. We then need to go past a transfer point and make sure we transfer ownership of that to us just for the period that we're going to be using it. Go this way out here, make sure there's no traffic coming, but we're going to head on down and do that, get our hazards on, make sure we're all covered, and we'll go and pick that up and then come back down, and we're going to try and actually run a sampler over all our fields just to bring them all up to the same level so that we know we're not going to have to do it again for a few more years. So that is the plan. We'll go down and get that done. Once we've got that done, we'll be in a position to be able to get someone to come in and spread some lime. We've already got an agreement with Mark again to come and do that for us. So we'll get the soil data, get him in and spreading some lime, and then we'll be able to start making a bit of an effort to get some of our crops planted. So we'll head on down, go and pick up the soil sampling and go and get started on that. Alright, well here we are. This is our field in here on the left that we're going to get into and sample first. Now this was canola and we're going to convert it into grass, but this is the one that actually needs to be done the most. It's the one that has the outdated data on it. So if we're just going to have a look at precision farming, so you can see there we've got no data anymore. That's outdated, it's very black, and 31 we have no data at all on. So I'm going to go through and do both of these fields because we need to, and I figured we must do 34 and 35 because as you can see 35 is getting a little bit darker. 34 is not too bad, but we might as well get all this data on all these fields at the same time, and then we know we're all done for the next few seasons. So we'll get things unfolded. There we go. We'll bring up our little map as well down the bottom just to make sure we're covering as much as we need to. There we go. Right. Turn that on, lower that down, and hopefully that's going to take a sample. It's flashing. That's doing what it's meant to be doing. I feel like I've been doing a little bit of this recently with some of the work we've been doing elsewhere, but there we go. Sample done. It's updated the server, so that is looking pretty good to me. Right, well, in that case, I'm just going to crack on and get this done. It's probably going to be a bit of an interesting episode, this one, because we're going to have to do the soil sampling, and then we're going to have to leave the server for a while until the lime spreading can get done. So you might find us jumping in and out at different times during the month of March. But there we go. Let's carry on. We'll get into a little bit of a time lapse of this, and we'll see when we're done. Alright, well I think that's everything done here. We'll just jump into precision farming and double check we've covered everything. And there you go, we've covered those fields we wanted to do. There's a few tiny little bits we missed on a couple of these fields, but I think that will be enough to cover everything off. So we jump back in here, let's have a look. We've done 87 samples, so we're going to press Y, send those off for analysis, and we'll get some results back. So there we are, soil sampling all finished. We'll run this back down to Bovine, get this drop back off to him, and then we'll head on back up to the farm. So back down here at Bovine's yard, I might just, it's been a while since we've had a look around here. I'm not going to be entirely nosy, but very tidy yard he has. Let's put this back in here where we found it, backed in here. Now he, as we've talked about before, he's got all the canola and oil productions going. Whoops, back up again. Here we go. As we said before, he's got all the canola and oil productions and everything like that going, so it'll be interesting to see how that's working out for him. I don't think he's got any in stock at the moment, I don't know. Can't see anything out here at the production. There's a trailer park there still, but needs a little bit of work done on his landscaping too. Look at that. It's a little bit treacherous. Let's just have a quick look around. Oh no, there we go, look at that. Canola oil. Plenty of it as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pallets of canola oil. Oh, that's going to be doing pretty well for him. That is going to be doing very good. Let's actually see. I'm quite curious now. 1,000 litres of canola oil. So he's got 10,000 litres there. I wonder what it's worth. So canola oil, peak price at $2,800. So he's got a, what, $28,000, $30,000 worth of canola sitting there. That's not too bad for him. Too bad at all. Right. Not sure what else there is to see to have a look around here, but all looking very nice. Right, let's jump back in the tractor and we'll go for head on back up to the yard. So here we are back at the yard, and I'm just going to get back in there because I think the cows are going to need a little bit more food at some stage. Well, the cattle at least. We don't have any cows, they're all beef. But let's just back ourselves into there. That should be good. I'll turn those hazards off. Go and have a look how close we were. That's not too bad, is it? A little bit off centre, but we'll get all that hooked up. And I think we'll just leave that there, get it turned off. We'll just leave that there for now, and we're going to log out because we've done what we needed to do. We've got the soil sampling done. The information will be there for Mark to be able to get in and spread some lime for us. So if he can do that over the next couple of days, then later in the week we will come back down and do some planting. So we'll catch you in a couple of days. Well, it's been a few days, but we are back and we are going to be getting into a little bit of planting. There's been a lot happening in the few days we haven't been on the server. Mark has been in and spread some lime across all our fields, so the pH value is looking very, very good. We'll just go and show you that now. So there you go, looking across our fields here in the corner, pretty much everything is sitting at that perfect 6.5, 6.75, 7 where we need to be to have the perfect pH. So that is all very good, and we've got obviously soil data for everything now. Nothing's outdated, so we are all up to date. Now, we've also had a few fields planted. So Dazed has been in, he's planted field 33 with the canola. We've had some help from Tater Tot, he's planted some oats here in field 34 and also put the grass into the field here, which is number 96 is what we call it, because that is the parcel ID when we look there, 96. Which leaves us 31 and 35 still to do. Now I've spent a bit of time and we have taken 21 silage bales off 35. Just wanted to cut that grass before it was ploughed under or planted into. So that's been done and that's going to become oats. But today, well for now, we are going to jump into field 31 and go and get that planted. Obviously it is the first time we've been in that field, so it'll be great to go and get that started. You can even see some of the grass still on the tyres there from the baling that we've been doing. But we've got everything set up. This is all full of seed and ready to go. Now we're going to try, as we did last season, we're going to put some tram lines in, but I've also got headland management set up on the tractor. So we're going to try and use a little bit of console following to put the headland in around the outside of the field, and then we'll get into some up and down rows and see how that'll work. So let's jump up on it and go over to the field. So we've made it down here to the field. I was just doing a little bit of testing there, you can see in front of us, but I think I've got everything set up properly. You can see the sensors there at the front, the little lines, that is for our contour management. We've got our Tramlines or Proceed is set up in semi-automatic at the moment, which means it will change tramline every time that we raise and lower the seeder. Now we're set up for a 6 meter planter at 30 meter width, so we're trying to design this for a 30 meter sprayer or spreader. So we want to have 5 tracks, which means our third track will be the one with the tramlines, but obviously our first 2 we don't want to have tramlines in it. So we're just going to power this up, lower it down, and that's automatically going to change us to track number 2. So we're going to go back to 1 just to make sure we're on the right side. We've got our headland management. You can see the little blue arrow down the bottom there, the little blue circle with the A in it down by our speedo. That is signifying that we are on the not on headland mode, we're on field mode, and it's automatically figuring out where we need to go. Now this should, by all testing, should, as we get up to this corner, turn the tractor on its own. So we're not doing anything, and there you go, that is the tractor now following around the contour on the edge of the field. Now the recommendation is to not go any faster than about 10 kilometers. So we're just going to sit here. We've got it set at 3 miles per hour. We're running a little bit faster than that. We're just going to press our speed there for our cruise control, and we're just going to run around pretty slowly to start off with. But this field's probably a really good one to test this mode out on, because it is quite an irregular shape, which is kind of one of the reasons I was interested in buying that. Now we're just going to figure out, bump up our speed just a touch here and try and go just a little bit faster. Well, fingers crossed, I've got things all set up and running properly for once and for all. A little bit of fine tuning and a little bit of trial and error, but we do seem to be driving along now. The headland management was turned on, so it was actually detecting it was reaching a headland and trying to pick things up and turn around. So we've turned that off, and we're just ignoring that for now and just running here with contour following, using our Proceed to put in tram lines. Once we get to our third headland pass, then we'll run one more headland pass, and that should be us pretty much good to go. So we're going to let this go. We'll do a little bit of a time lapse here of these first couple of passes. Hopefully things are going to work out. It's all a bit of trial and error for me, but it's always fun trying to figure these mods out and exactly how they work, and I know the more I use them, the better I will get. So I'll catch you in a little bit. We're just coming up on the third headland pass, and this should be the one we're putting down some tram lines. Of course, we're not actually going to know, I can't tell, whether they've worked until the crop comes up. So fingers crossed, everything is doing what it should, and as we get around here, we'll get everything tidied up. But I think I've got things figured out. You can see from the tyre tracks down here, there was a little bit of confusion when we got to changing passes, but we've managed to drive 3 times around the field using the contour following feature from Headland Management. So we'll get into this spot, and right about there, we're done. So we're just going to stop that, lift it up for now. Now we need to turn all of those bits and pieces off. We'll go to Shift Z to turn Headland on. Now I need to actually figure out what line we're going to plant this field in and set up the rest of our tram lines as we go up and down the field. So I'm just going to have a look on the map and figure out what might be the best orientation for those. So as you can see there, the field is not the most regular shape. I'm just wondering whether if I pick off this line here, sort of head up that way, we might end up with a little pass in there we need to go back and do, but then everything else is kind of going to zigzag. We'll get some tight corners down there, but I reckon maybe just off this edge here might be the very best spot. So we're going to go and sort that out. I'm going to use some GPS for this, just because I'm more comfortable and familiar with that when it comes to everything else. And we'll get it set up, and we should then be able to jump into some automatic with the rows for the proceed to get the tram lines in the right spots. So we've got our GPS course set up running along here. We've got that all turned on. We're on track number 2, or it's actually track number 3, so that is why we should be putting down some tram lines as we're planting this row. If we went to the left or right, we wouldn't have any tram lines. It does mean we're going to have this awkward little section just in here on our right that we're going to have to deal with, but it is what it is. We'll end up with the tram line probably very close to the ones on the other side, but that's just what's needed when you're going to be running through with these seeders. I might have been able to do it a little bit more efficiently in a different way, but we can make it work with what we've got. So we're just going to carry on again, keep on going with the planting, and we'll catch up with you when we're a little bit further through. Seeds looking alright, we're at about 66%. I'm not sure if it'll get us the whole way through this field, might be a bit touch and go, but we're not too far away from the yard at all, so if we need to go and top up, we can do that when and if needed. So we're just going to carry on, we'll catch you when we're a bit further through. We're down to the last few litres of seed here and just have that little part of the field to go. I thought actually we might have run out a little bit before then, so it's actually gone quite a long way getting the field finished, but it's beeping at us because we are going to run out before we get to the end of this pass. Last 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and we will be done. Head back on over to the yard. There we go. And we will go and get it topped up. Now, interesting about my observations around using headland management, I think what I should have done, I should have run an extra pass around on the inside here of the tram line, just so that when I'm stopping and starting the up and down rows, I can stop and start them on the row inside the tram lines rather than running across the tram lines. So I expect the main tram line around the headland is going to be a little bit damaged with where we've stopped and started. So, lesson learned, we'll do that in the next one. Run that one extra pass around. Like I said, it is very beneficial that we're so close to the yard. We'll head back up here, go and get topped up. That'll give us enough to do both the field we've just done and also go and get the grass field done as well. And that should be all our planting done. Full of seed back here in the field, and we're just going to carry on and get this one all finished off. Be good to get this done. And we'll see how we go time-wise. I don't think I'm actually going to get a chance to pop over into the other field, so we might just have to log on a little bit later and try and get that one finished this side of the end of the month. If we're not able to, hopefully Tater Tot or someone else might be able to log in and do that one for us. But like I said, we'll just carry on here, get our way through this and get the field finished. And there we go. We probably didn't actually need to put a tram line in there. If I was paying attention, we would have looked and realised that was probably a silly place to put one. In fact, we might just turn that off and run back along here and just seed it manually. Just get rid of those. Alright, there we go. That should have got rid of those. So we'll lift that up, turn it off. Only use 9% seed, so we didn't need too much to come over and finish the field, but that's us done. Oats all finished here in this field. We'll just actually take a very quick look at the map. There we go, nice full field of oats sitting there in that field, and they should show up nice and green growing, as are all our other crops. I'm not sure quite what that is. I think that must be the tram lines, just because the angle they were done at sort of shows up a little bit. You can see them popping through in that field too. Then if we take a look at our nitrogen, we are going to have to get in and get some nitrogen applied onto all of these, because I can guarantee if we hop out, our nitrogen needs to be up around 140 kilograms per hectare, not 65, so we need to boost that up there to get our potential yield, or our expected yield, up closer to that potential yield. So that's us. Right, let's head on back down to the yard. I was thinking I'd take this over to the field, but I'm definitely not going to have time now to get that one done, so we'll go and park it up. We might try and get that done ourselves sometime during the day tomorrow. Whether it makes part of the video or not, I'm not too sure. We'll just have to see how things go with that. But if it doesn't, then this will be the end of today's episode, which I hope you've all enjoyed. It's nice to be back here getting into some proper farming again on the oaks. We've got some more plans going forward to try and diversify just a little bit, which we'll try and hopefully get into next episode. Until then, as always, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.